All right. Hello. Hello. Happy Tuesday. It's been a while, my friend. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm coming at you live from a hotel in Las Vegas, which sounds a whole lot more exciting than it actually is. I've been sharing a hotel room with my husband, my dog, and my 4-year-old for almost 5 weeks. So, other than the fact that most days I get a made to order omelet and somebody else makes it, there's really not a whole lot to brag about as far as hotel living goes, especially when you're in transit trying to find a new home and you don't have all your stuff and you're working in a chair in the hotel room that is not very comfortable. But I'm really not complaining. It's a fun adventure. Today, for our last show before we go on July break, where we won't have any new videos for the month, we are talking about creating, or actually growing, your email newsletter list, your author platform with reader magnets. So that's the topic du jour. Welcome for those of you just joining in. Hello, Brian. Great to see you. Angela, thanks for being here. Those of you that are new, definitely say hello. If you're watching the replay, say hello and play along as well. I have skipped a couple of lives and we are skipping July. So I'm suspecting a lot of folks are going to catch this on the replay. So that means those of you here live, you've got a good shot at winning prizes, because if you're new, you know that there's prizes for participation. So we're talking about reader magnets, building your email newsletter list. And while we give folks a moment to dive in, definitely say hello and let me know what temperature it is where you're at. Are you part of this West Coast heat wave? My family that is back in Canada, they actually had the same temperature that we had in Las Vegas yesterday. We were neck and neck, which the big difference is in Las Vegas, people are prepared and ready for the heat. On the west coast of Canada, they're not ready for that kind of 100-degree temperature. Schools and universities even closed because the heat was so stifling, and many people don't have air conditioning. They don't have a way to cool off. So it was quite serious. So while I'm smiling, this was definitely a thing for them. Thankfully, my parents had air conditioning, so they weren't suffering. One other thing before I dive in, the reviewer party. So thank you to all of you who have posted reviews of self-published. Sorry, I got something in my eye. For those of you who have posted a review of Self-Publish and Succeed, we are at 49 reviews right now. And I promised reviewer parties at 50 reviews and 100 reviews. So that means I have scheduled, in the name of optimism, knowing that there's at least one more of you out there that's going to post a review of Self-Publish and Succeed, I have scheduled the reviewer party. It is going to happen on July 27th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it will be, if you have posted a review and let us know, we are going to be emailing you a link to join us for this reviewer party. Watch your inbox for that. I'm very excited. Okay, so again, this is the last video before we take our July break, and we're talking about lead magnets or reader magnets and building that all-important newsletter list. Now, while we get into that, I'm going to start with the first participation prize, and I want you to tell me what you think a lead magnet is or a reader magnet is. So go ahead, post that in the comments, and I want to see what you think a reader magnet or a lead magnet is. So go ahead. Hey, Tobias, great to see you. The Little World Church, hello. Oh, congratulations. The Little World Church TLWC says, I got my book published from your videos. So that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing. We Photo Gal, hello from Connecticut in the US. And Angela says it's only 87 in North Texas. Woohoo, you are cool and cool as a cucumber. Jean de, I don't know if that's how you say it, or if it's John D. There's so many ways you could say that name, but hello and welcome. All right, so what I'm asking is, let me know what you think a reader magnet is or a lead magnet. What do you think that is? And let's see. Okay, Tobias has posted. It's kind of close. Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to go with We Photo Gal because that was a very specific answer. Tobias, you're pretty close. You're pretty close. Yeah, and Brian really nailed it, but I'm going to give it to We Photo Gal because I'm assuming she was ahead of Brian on this. So a reader magnet is a freebie that you give when you get people to sign up for your email. Brian also defined it as a motivator to get someone on your newsletter list, a gift or a paper or something. Yes, so We Photo Gal. All you need to do is email us at team@booklaunchers.com. And because I'm in a hotel room, I don't have anything but a cactus. And I'm not giving this cactus away. His name is Spiky, named by my 4-year-old. But we do have, Angela here has our hashtag No Boring Books mugs, our Oh So Soft journals, and copies of Self-Publish and Succeed. So you can choose from those 3 prizes and then email her at team@booklaunchers.com and let her know. Do we still want people to email you at team, or do we want to give them, we should probably set up a new email address, Angela, for prizes or something like that. I think that would be wise. Angela is no longer monitoring the team email address. That's why we're having this side conversation. But for now, team@booklaunchers.com. We Photo Gal, I am not giving away succulents right now. That is my son's. He would be very upset if I gave away his beloved cactus. When we moved to Las Vegas, which is where we are now, that was the one thing. He was so excited for all the cacti that he was going to be seeing, and he loves them all. So I can't pass. I can't give away Spiky, but you can have a mug, a journal, or a copy of my book. There you go. Okay, Tobias is on a walk. That's great. Okay, so. And I just waved. I don't know if you're actually listening or watching. Okay, so back to the reader magnets, which is great. And so, yes, it's a freebie. It's an incentive to get people to opt into your email list. And on one of the recent videos that I posted, Kevin McGuire, one of the original YouTube besties, excuse me, I couldn't hit mute fast enough. I don't even know where the mute is on this. One moment, please. Okay. Sorry for that. It's Vegas, it's dry, and I need to figure out where the mute is in case I have to do that again. Oh, there it is. I found it. Now I've done 2 things. I've learned where mute is, and all right, and I've probably scared all you. Okay, good stuff. So Kevin McGuire made a point in a comment that reader magnets have problems because people sign up for the free thing and aren't necessarily true fans. Well, that can be true. It is a way to get people to take action and give you their email address, which people are more and more protective of today than ever before, because we've all gotten those emails that we don't want, or signed up for a newsletter list and had 20,000 emails come our way that we didn't want. So people do need a reason to subscribe and take action, and really ultimately, putting a little notice on your website, sign up for new releases here, or just saying, join me on Facebook there, get my updates here. There's no value in that. And value is the key word, because our email addresses are something we value. And in order to give it to somebody, you typically need to be sure that you're going to get value in exchange for that email address. And really, this comes down to giving them an irresistible reason to give you their email address. So you might say, one example from Book Launchers is I have a free guide to create a business book. And you can get that at booklaunchers.com/business book. And Angela will be dropping these links that I'm going to be throwing at you in the comments, so you can kind of see some of these opt-in pages. I keep things really simple. And in fact, our best performing opt-in page, I'll give you in a minute. And by the way, if you don't know the terminology, an opt-in page is simply the page that people go to where they're going to sign up for your email newsletter. And there's 2 things, 2 ways to do this. One is, of course, to have it on your website. And I recommend you have it above the fold, which means before somebody has to start scrolling. So your call to action, your freebie, your invitation to subscribe to your newsletter is above the fold, so before they start scrolling. The other thing, and this is what I highly recommend you do, and I'll explain why in a minute, is you create a single dedicated page like booklaunchers.com/business book that is only dedicated to giving them the freebie. There's nothing else for them to do on that page except for to download that freebie. And so you would say something like, get your guide to write a business book that sells or that's set up to grow your business here. And then you give them that URL. You can also say, get the next book free when you sign up on my mailing list. So if you're one of those kind of prolific writers who writes series or you've got lots of content always coming out, that can work, but it's not as strong as saying, get the guide to do this so you can achieve this, right? Get the next book free is not really a clear, irresistible, right? It doesn't meet that irresistible criteria. Something else that could work is, depending on your content, get this social media calendar here so you're organized and you don't, spend 1 hour a week on your social media by getting this social media calendar. Or let's see, you could go the route of get exclusive content that I only share in my newsletter. But when you do that, make sure that you're still giving them some sort of an outcome or reason other than just exclusivity. So just go that step further and kind of go that exclusive content that will make you stand out as a writer, or that exclusive content that will help reveal, the best stock picks of the week, whatever your content might be. Make sure you just give them that extra irresistible reason to subscribe to your newsletter. And here's why. Even though I do think Kevin made a very valid point when he said, you get a lot of people who aren't true fans that are just there for the freebie, I still think you need, as a nonfiction author, you need at least one reader magnet. And I have, for book launchers, I have 4 right now. I primarily use 3 of them. And I won't get into, all the reasons why at this stage, but I primarily use 3 of them, and I have 3 different ones because there's different audiences that I talk to. There's different audiences that we run ads to. And you, as a nonfiction author, may not be running ads, but you probably are doing podcast interviews. You probably have some print interviews, maybe guest articles. If you're doing any speaking whatsoever, these reader magnets are tremendously valuable, because when you're promoting your book, when you're out there doing podcast interviews and speaking engagements and all of these things, there's almost this universal rule that you can't promote stuff. You can't promote your business. You can't even really promote your book. You can kind of seed your book by saying, in chapter 8, I cover this in great detail, but here's 3 tips. Right? You could seed your book that way, but you're not there to explicitly promote anything. And usually you get one opportunity to connect, when they say, how can people connect with you? Or at the bottom of your article or your guest post, you'll get a single link. So the mistake that a lot of people do, or the mistake that a lot of people make, is in podcast interviews, and we've talked about this before, they'll say, oh, you can find me on Facebook here, and Instagram here, and the website here, and YouTube here, and Clubhouse here, and on, and they give all these places and nobody knows where to go. This is where I say, basically, if you want to get the 7 steps to write a book that will actually be set up to sell, you can download that at booklaunchers.com, the number 7 steps. And when you do that, you'll also get my email address so you can connect with me there, or you'll also get links to our website if you want those as well. Those will be in that email. Boom, one place. Go to booklaunchers.com/7 steps. And that is an opt-in page. And that, by the way, is probably the simplest opt-in page ever. And it crushes. It crushes. We have been testing that and basically split testing that page since almost the beginning of Book Launchers. So that page has outperformed every other option that I've created for almost 4 years. So it's something about its simplicity works for this particular audience, and conversion rate on that page is almost 40%, which is really, really high. So feel free to check it out, copy it, do whatever you want. I'm totally fine with it. That's why I'm sharing it. But that is an opt-in page, and that's how I would use it. And so the reality is, sending people to your website is okay, but giving them a call to action, a reason to go to a specific link and connect with you, that's much better. And your newsletter list is the most valuable asset you're going to build around your book and around your business. And ultimately, a lot of people will opt in and then eventually buy your book that wouldn't have bought your book at the outset. So you have this opportunity to build a relationship. Also, what I do is on the thank you page to some of these opt-ins, I either have a call to action to schedule a call with us, or to talk about your book, to see if we're a fit to help you at book launchers. Or we also are now testing a page where you can buy my book, and that's an option as well. And that has performed really well in certain audiences. So you opt in, and on the thank you page, it says, hey, go to your email, click the link to confirm you want to receive this. And hey, while you're here and while that email is making its way to you, why don't you buy a copy of this book, which is, here's the reasons to buy it. And that converts really well too. So you can still end up selling your book right there from your opt-in. Lots of ways to do it. I'll just see if you guys have questions. I'll take a little breather here. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, we're still emailing team, but we'll change that. Let's see. Stephen, great to see you. Tony, hey, great to see you too. Chill mode. So chill mode, this is a good question. Normally I save questions to the end, but because I kind of brought this up now, I'll answer it. Do you recommend first-time self-published authors bypass Amazon and simply use their own website to sell books? No, not necessarily, probably not. Amazon is a book selling machine. And if you teach Amazon who is going to convert, they're going to sell books for you. And then they also have a really powerful ad platform that can allow you to reach new people. So I do sell books through my website. Well, not through book launchers directly, but we have a specific ad page, which is the page that is through thank you, or the thank you page, where we sell books through Lulu. Which allows us to collect the contact information and then, build a relationship with the book buyers, something you can't do on Amazon. But it's a lot of work to sell your book from your website if you are doing the shipping yourself, you're collecting the payment methods and all of those kind of pieces. And you also have to drive all the traffic. Whereas Amazon has traffic. So if you do those keywords, you make your book discoverable, you send it traffic that converts, teach it who's going to convert, your book will be sold by Amazon, even just a little bit, which is, unless you have a really, really high traffic website already, that's a tremendous advantage for a first-time author. That's one thing I would say is I highly recommend that you get yourself, you get yourself on Amazon, but you also have other places that you're selling your book and you're doing a lot of things to drive traffic, which goes back to what we're talking about today. Reader magnets and promoting your book. As a nonfiction author in particular, a lot of the book promotion stuff comes back to, really you getting out there. So you're going to be, podcast interviews are really common, newsletter swaps, guest posts, even speaking engagements. And so here's one other thing that I have done. When you do speaking engagements, you're almost never allowed to promote. And certainly if you're doing a paid speaking engagement, you absolutely do not promote. What you may want to do, sorry, chill mode, thank you. I've never seen that before. That's really cool. $5 just popped up. Oh, sorry, that's the first time for everything. So that's very cool. So what I have done with speaking engagements is you can do a feedback form or a worksheet or both, and you can have everybody in the audience get a copy of this. And what you can do with the feedback form is you can collect feedback, and on that page, you can also say, would you like to receive this X reader magnet? So would you like to receive a copy of our 7 steps to write a book that is set up to sell? And then you could have, a yes, and here's my email address, and they're opting in through that. And so, because when you speak, the other thing you can do is have an email address that people text to get the download or to get the worksheets, to get the resources. And, that can also be an option in a live presentation setting. But I have found the feedback form with that opt-in can often collect 40% of the room, 50% of the room, depends on, the tie-in. But you can get email address from a lot of people in the room without upsetting the organizers, which is really, really important. Now, if you have a paid speaking engagement, check your contract. You don't want to do anything to violate that paid speaking engagement. But, a lot of the events that a lot of us will do are not paid. Like I am speaking at the upcoming podcast movement in Nashville. And I've done a lot of events like FinCon and PodFest and VidFest. And you don't get paid for those things. You get a free ticket to the event, but you're not paid to be there. And so, you're really just expecting to give great content and build relationships over time that will benefit in some capacity. But the other way to monetize those is with the reader magnet, and to really invite people to join your community. And then after you've built that relationship, you can use that to sell books and services and so on. So that's really why a reader magnet is super important. It grows your audience, it builds that community, and it gives you that opportunity to sell them books today and in the future. It's really, really important. So what do you need to build this newsletter list, to have this reader magnet work? Well, number one, you have to have a reader magnet. We'll talk about a little bit about details and logistics on that in a second. You're going to need email software. We recommend ConvertKit, and Angela can drop the link for ConvertKit in the box. That is an affiliate link. I love ConvertKit because it was built for creators. It was built by an author for authors, and it's kind of expanded into anybody who's a creator. But ultimately, it's a one-stop shop. It has the landing pages. It even has some e-commerce ability. It has the ability to email people, collect the email addresses and everything. It is a little on, it's not, I don't think it's expensive at all. You don't want to know what we pay for email software through Infusionsoft, or Keep rather. But it is a robust system that gives you everything you need. But if it's too much, if it's more than you want to begin with, you can go with MailChimp or Constant Contact, Active Campaign. There's lots of really reputable companies that do a good job of this. Ultimately, though, you're going to need an opt-in page. So I like, again, ConvertKit because they have great templates that are already set up that you can create to create these opt-in pages for your email campaign. But you will need an opt-in page. You can build it on WordPress if you have a WordPress site, but I want you to take special note of booklaunchers.com/7 steps and the /business book. You'll see there's nothing else on those pages. It is just a standalone page. So if you do create it inside of your regular website, make sure there's no menu across the top, no sidebar, not even a footer other than a privacy policy and copyright at the bottom. You really want it to be clean and clear that what you want people to do on that page is give you their email address, full stop. And then fourth, you want an autoresponder. So this is an email series that is going to go to them after they sign up, because this is what I don't want you to do. And I know there's some of you that are here right now or watching the replay that are going to be guilty of this. So it's okay. You're in good company if this is you. But this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to create this beautiful reader magnet, create an opt-in page, and go to the work of doing a podcast interview and sharing that link, or speaking and getting some emails, putting them in there, and then never emailing them. Anybody done that? Anybody have an email list that they haven't sent an email to in more than 3 months? You have to email these folks. And so the very first thing is have an autoresponder. It needs to have an immediate email that delivers that reader magnet. Then I would say 3 or 4 days later, send another one, just seeing, hey, did you check that out? Here's a cool thing you're missing if you haven't checked it out. And then maybe a week later, you can tell them about your book. You can invite them to do something else. You can tell them a funny story or pull a chapter from your book and share it, or an excerpt from your book. But basically, make sure that you're sending them a few emails, and then schedule in your calendar to send at least a monthly email. Even if you only have 100 people on your email list, and if you're skeptical as to the power of what 100 people can do, I mean, there's a lot of posts out there about 100 true fans and things like that. But there's a video on our site from Jillian Gertzen on marketing a book with a small audience. And I think she had an email newsletter list of 1,000 actually, but I think she had 100 people supporting her book, and some really amazing, cool things happened, including multiple store displays where she had end cap space with only her and a couple other books. It was really, really cool. So check out that video. So that's the 4 things you need. You need that reader magnet. You need some sort of email software to deliver this. You need that opt-in page and that autoresponder. So today, I'm really just going to focus on the reader magnet. I'm going to talk about a few ideas, talk about a few logistics, and then we'll cover questions. And when we're back in August, we can expand on this topic because this is something that's really, really important. And I know at Book Launchers, we get a lot of questions about this, especially from our clients. So I really want to spend time kind of deep diving into this content and make sure everybody has the information they need to build their platform and create that community and really create that engaged community that will buy your existing books and buy your future books. So yeah, we'll talk about Reader Magnet in a second, but I want to do our YouTube draws. So was that Canadian for reputable? I don't know. What did I say? I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh, Mike, gotta go. Okay, bye. Thank you for being here. Okay, so sorry, I'm just reading. I'm just reading this. Bill says fresh stuffs. Yes, this is fresh stuffs. Just for you. Okay, so YouTube draw. So if you're new here, every Tuesday and Friday, we have new videos. And if you comment the day a video is released, you get entered to win our fabulous Book Launcher swag or a copy of Self-Publish and Succeed, my latest book. And so I put all those names in a draw for you, and I'm going to click the draw button right now and pick one of you lovely folks that commented in the last 2 weeks on the videos. All right, so congratulations to, scrolling down, Super Typist. All right, Super Typist, I noticed you've been very diligent commenting on videos lately, so thank you so much. Email us at team@booklaunchers.com. And let us know that you were the winner today. And Angela will have your handle down and be waiting to hear from you. And let us know if you want the book, the journal, or the #NoBoringBooks mug, which has been proven to make coffee, tea, and hot chocolate taste better. Okay. And while I'm here, I'm just going to do the second draw because we always do two. So let me just pick a random name, part 2, and see who we have for part 2. All right, this second winner of the day is, Bill Miller. Hey, Bill, I think I saw you here today. So congratulations. What have you not won yet? That is the question. What have you not won? Okay. Tony, yes. Better luck next time. I don't know if you've won yet, but I know you've been on there. You've been on the list quite a few times. So thank you for that, Tony. Okay, Bill, we're waiting to hear what Bill hasn't won. And Bill, you can email us at team@booklaunchers.com. Okay, so Reader Magnet logistics. So first of all, what I recommend is it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be elaborate. What it does need to do is solve some sort of a problem. So that you have an outcome that you're offering. So this is why checklists can be great. Excel spreadsheets that help them calculate something can be really good as well. Ebooks or workbooks can work too. Quizzes are actually an incredibly effective tool. If there's lots of apps and different ways to create quizzes now, and people love quizzes. So you can create a quiz, and that can be a tremendous opt-in opportunity for you as well. So tools, basically something, again, that solves a problem. So you can look at the hook of your book, you can look at the chapters of your book, and you can kind of see, is there something you can pull out that you can offer people as a way to solve a problem? Which is really what we've done with the 3 main lead magnets that we have are all really slightly, well, 2 of them are slightly different versions of each other. And then the other one is really a guide to hiring ghostwriters. So you can see that one. I think the link for that is booklaunchers.com/get a ghost, I think is what it is. Angela can check that and maybe she can figure it out. But that's a guide to choosing and hiring, basically it's a guide to hiring a ghostwriter and then effectively managing them. Because unless you work with a company like Book Launchers, if you hire a ghostwriter or hire all the pieces, you are effectively a project manager. So you have to manage that. So you want to create something of value. And then I highly recommend you go the extra step of investing in design. So create something that represents your brand, that you can be proud of, that is something that is going to add value and really stand out, so that when somebody downloads it, they don't just go, oh, that's cheap, or oh, there's no value here. Like, create something of value that's going to make them excited for the things that they actually might pay for, like your book. So whatever you create, you want it to be great. You want it to look great, even if it's simple, even if it's short. And so that's where, going to Upwork or even Fiverr and paying people to design it, or if you know a great graphics designer, pay somebody to design it. And it doesn't have to be very expensive. I mean, I think if you look at, if you're downloading any of these freebies that I've mentioned today, it's costing us less than $150 to get those designed. And I mean, I paid to have them proofread too. So there's a proofreading fee in there. But I mean, for less than $500, you're creating something that you're proud of that can be out there in the world. And you could do it even cheaper. Or if you're keeping it really simple, then, even less than that. So that's what I recommend for that. And then when you choose your email software, you're going to have that reader magnet set up through that software so that people are getting automatic delivery of that, and that it's all very smooth and simple and easy for you, so that it doesn't become a full-time job just fulfilling your freebie. So any questions about that? Any ideas? Anything you want to check with? I think it's a great conversation here. And Angela, whatever questions people have, I'm happy to answer them. And I just also want to, I'm just checking my notes to see if I missed anything. I think I already mentioned. So just to kind of repeat where you're going to use that URL and where this reader magnet is really useful is on feedback forms. If you do run ads online, I mean, this is tremendously powerful. On YouTube, I have created videos that direct people solely to these lead magnets. And then we run ads to those videos. And those are tremendously powerful videos. We've been able to do a lot of them for a lot of low cost of opt-in, which has been really great for growing book launchers. And then, of course, the book launchers email list that we have also help me sell copies of Self-Publish and Succeed. So it really helps with that. Again, podcast interviews are really primarily where I use these lead magnets, because at the very end of every podcast interview, where can my listeners connect with you? That's your one opportunity. And often they will even ask you if you have a freebie to give their audience. So having a great reader magnet will get them excited, and they might even mention it. And then it's always in the show notes of their show. And then, of course, if you get to do articles or guest posts or guest newsletters, this is where you can include that link at the end of those things and link to this opt-in. Okay. So, by the way, on my book, Self-Publish and Succeed, today is the last day for the 99-cent ebook deal. So if you haven't got a copy and you didn't win one today, you can just head over to Amazon.com, and the Kindle version of the book is on for 99 cents today. This is the last day of the ebook sale until that's over. So if you haven't got it, that's a great chance to get it. And I think that's it. So question one, Daniel de la Tour: can my book's back cover copy play a factor in trying to come up with a hook? The hook should be created long before anything else is created. And then your hook should be showcased on your book's back cover copy in order to sell your book. So the hook is the first thing that you create. Okay, you may want to have reader clarity before, but ultimately the first thing you're going to come up with before you start writing is that hook of your book. Question two, Melissa: what if your book is a memoir and you may not write another book? So I'm assuming, Melissa, you're asking, if your book is a memoir, should I bother building an email newsletter list if this is the only time you're going to do this? Do you want a reader magnet? Maybe. Maybe. It's a really good question. And it depends. So if your goal of writing a memoir was just as legacy, you really wanted to put it down on paper, and ultimately all you care about is just promoting that book and building that legacy, maybe not. I still am a fan of building a newsletter and building a community, because some of you have probably heard this story before, but when I launched Book Launchers, my first 10 clients came from my real estate email newsletter list. So I had developed a strong community, a strong following, whatever you want to call it, from my previous business, which was a real estate investing and trading company. And so when I launched Book Launchers, it had absolutely nothing to do with real estate, but I had built relationships with, I don't even remember how many thousands of people were on that newsletter list. And I just sent an email to all of them and said, hey, I'm starting a publishing company and I'm looking for 10 beta clients that want to write a book and they want help and support to self-publish that book. And through that email newsletter list, I got 10 people who ended up being our beta clients. And the reason was not because I was a publishing expert at that time. I mean, I had published 2 books, and many people in my real estate audience knew of the success of my first book in particular, hitting number 1. It was, quite well known in the Canadian real estate space at the time. But they were signing up to work with book launchers because of me, because I had built a reputation. They trusted me. They knew if I said I was going to do something, that I was going to do it, and that I would take great care of them, even though they were also signing up to be beta. So they were signing up for the bumpy road of us figuring out our processes, using them and their book as the beta process for that. But that's why I love building that email newsletter and those relationships, because you never know where you're going to go next. So maybe you think this is your only book right now, but maybe you're going to write another book in the future. If you have taken this extra step of building that community, you have people who will support you whatever you do. That said, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. And so 100%, if you're just like, this was the only book, I only did it for legacy, I'm not worried about speaking gigs, I'm not worried about anything else but the sale of this book, run Amazon ads and don't worry too much about what I'm saying. So hopefully that helps. Okay, I think, let's see. Do we have any other question? 3, Sylvia, how do I know if my reader magnet doesn't have enough value, or if I'm doing it wrong? I still am a long way from the 100 newsletter entries. So there can be a few potential issues. So one thing is, are you sending much traffic to that opt-in? And if you are, so if you've done, a handful of podcast interviews, you've done a few newsletter swaps, you've done a few things, and you're not seeing much growth in that newsletter list, then, again, I would look at your call to action initially. Are you sending people to a single page where the only option is to opt in? Because a lot of people send people to their website and hope that they find that opt-in and they see value in it and sign up. And that really doesn't perform that well. Probably, I don't have the specific recent stats, but I've seen numbers where it's less than 2% of the people who go to your website are going to opt in. So if you've sent 100 people to your website and 2 of them have signed up, you're pretty much on track. But again, if you've sent 100 people to a high performing opt-in page like booklaunchers.com/7 steps, you should be seeing 30 to 40 people opting in and signing up for your newsletter. So that's why I say you really need a single dedicated page to doing this to grow your newsletter. If you have had that, if you have that dedicated page and you had sent 100 people there and you haven't had very many people sign up, now I want to look at your offer. So now I want to go, okay, have you made a clear offer that has value to your specific audience that you're talking to? And that's where you maybe didn't create a lead magnet of value. Some people said, oh, just get a free chapter. That's a very common one. The get a free chapter doesn't have enough value. If you say, get my chapter on speed writing. So I have a chapter on how to write your book or how to save 1,418 hours writing your book, right? So if I gave that chapter away and I said, get my chapter on how you're going to save 1,418 hours writing your book, now there's value, because now there's a promise, there's a benefit to that chapter and to that download. So that's hopefully that helps without actually diving into specifically what you've got and seeing the process and the numbers. I'm not sure how to troubleshoot, but hopefully that gave you something to work with. Yeah, and We Photo Gal says, you don't know what you're going to create or write down the road. You're building community that want to be involved with you, which is really, really important. Okay, and Bill says, thanks for the kind words. I missed what we were doing with Bill there. Okay, so final prize of the day before we bid adieu. Okay, that was all the questions. Fantastic. So we almost always do a count. So today is the 29th, I believe, of June. So let's go from, let's do 29 from the top. Why not? So Angela, if you want to count down 29 from the top. And while you do that, I got to give a huge shout out to Robert Bell. For those of you who caught the special deep dive training that I released 2 weeks ago in lieu of a live stream, Robert Bell shared in that he was chosen to do a TED Talk, and his TED Talk came out last week. Angela will put a link here, and if you're watching the replay, I'll make sure to put a link in the description. His TED Talk in just over a week already has more than 680,000 views. So I am sure it'll be a while before we see Robert around the channel again, because I have a feeling he is busy. But huge congrats to Robert. We're so excited for him, and we're also really proud to have played a tiny part in him getting to this TED Talk. So yeah, so check that TED Talk out. It is really great. And let me just see here. I'm waiting for number 29 and the link. So Angela's probably busy counting, so I'll give her another minute. And I see a question from Naomi on, do you have any specific recommendations for poetry books? Unfortunately, I have no experience with poetry books. And I'm trying to think of a resource I could even offer in that space. Often my default is to go check out Keith Wheeler books, Dale, Self-Publishing with Dale, or Kelly Publish. I don't know if any of them have done poetry books either. They've done a lot of low content books, but I'm not sure on that one. Here's the link for the TED Talk, and Melissa Cook is number 29. Yay! Congratulations, Melissa. So email us at team@booklaunchers.com and let us know if you want a copy of my book, a mug, or a journal. And again, a couple other reminders. If you haven't already posted your review of Self-Publish and Succeed, please do that. We're at 49 reviews. 50 is our party, and we're having that party on July 27th. So just email us at team@booklaunchers.com and let us know that you posted a review, and we'll get you an invite to that party. I can't wait. And then we're having another party at 100. So it's okay to post a review if it's over 50, because there's still another party that we're going to have. I can't wait to celebrate with all of you. So you can still get it at 99 cents today, and then post a review after that. And thank you so much for being here. We're back in August. So this is the last video until the start of August. We're taking our July break. I'll miss you, but I'm excited to spend the month creating some great content for you, and joining all of you that have posted reviews on the reviewer party on July 27th. So thank you, and take care.